Hey, we're 1413 Visuals.
I'm Josh.
I'm not Sam.
We made this podcast to create a space for people that do stuff like what we do, which is photo and video, and that they maybe can relate to, and give them a platform to maybe come on and talk shop with us and talk about the struggles and the fun times and bad times of being a creator.
A full-time creator, I feel like it would be to specify, because sometimes, not to diminish anybody who's not full-time, but I feel like there are some things that you face as a full-time creator that maybe you didn't have to deal with when you were a hobby or a part-time creator. I guess one pro of not doing it full-time is you get a break, which people, when you think about doing something that you love to make money, you are like, why would you need a break? But I think it relieves some of the pressure when your livelihood isn't relying on what you do for fun and being creative.
It's scary when you make that leap from corporate world to being full-time creator. I guess it's weird. It's still weird for me to say that, but that is what it is. And
then even having to be a corporate creator to maybe keep your lights on and kind of, being forced to pick and choose what you really get to be creative.
Not that there's not space for the part-time people, but there really is. It takes a leap of faith to go all in. Yeah,
well, and I think that's a specific important a part of our story, is that we're full-time creators in a studio, 1413 Visuals. We do a lot of different types of work. We do a lot of corporate work, but then we really do a lot of stuff in the music scene, and that's where we really find our most joy and, I guess, creativity is in the music scene.
Me and Sam are, how'd you put it, different seasons of life?
Personally, we're in different seasons of life. You have your adorable little family, kids, wife, whatever. You guys are doing great. I am the polar opposite of that, chronically alone. Jeez. And loving every minute of it. And sometimes I do a little bit of dating, but it is not a priority. Yes, very single, very involved.
Yeah, but I do. You might disagree.
At a similar age.
That and we do share some stuff.
Yeah.
Like the stuff, and that's the whole reason. I feel like you're going to hear us argue a lot, and we're not really arguing, I don't think, but bickering, yeah. But I think that we have a lot of similarities in some of the style we do things. We both have a love of music. Mine's different from what Sam's is, but it's still in the same category, and I think that's what
butt rock.
Okay, it's not just Nickelback, Three Doors Down. It gets deeper. Creed's in there too. Before I met you, I wanted to rebrand and get my name out of it for limited liability, and just so that if I ever hire freelancers, that it wouldn't just be about me. Then I did a show with Morgan, and I saw you. I think you commented on something. I was looking at your work, and I was like, "Oh man, this chick does a really good job, and I would like to have somebody lined up for next time I got to do music, because this seems like to be her specialty. It would really relieve a lot of stress off me for me covering a whole show like I did at Morgan's album release." So then I sent you a message on Instagram.
Slid into the DMs.
I sure did. But I was like, hey, come to the studio and let me talk to you. I might have something for you in the future.
I think it's important to know, too, that about 2 to 3 weeks before that message, or I was probably a week and a half or so before the message, but 2 to 3 weeks before we actually met up, I had lost my full-time job. I had been a part-time creator for quite a long time, moving through for a little bit on my own, and I had just lost my full-time job and was applying everywhere and was really trying to give myself a solid 2 months or so of trying to get a job in the field that I wanted to pursue and enjoyed, which was creating. So I was applying all over the place for jobs like that, and then got the message from you about meeting and coming in the studio.
So you came in, and I was like showing you, I was showing you stuff from the show.
Yeah.
I was like, this is kind of what I'm looking for. I need somebody to run a second angle and do stuff. And then I could tell that, like, you're like, oh yeah, this is really cool. And then I think I popped the question, I'm like, can you do stuff that's not music? Would you be interested in that?
And I quote with my memory, you said, would you be interested in doing maybe not so fun things.
Do
And
I talk that
said,
slow?
you did when you said it. It was like you were afraid to ask me. And I said, yeah, if it means I get to do this all the time, I'll do all the boring stuff. And then that's what brought me to some of the most deadly projects I've been been asked to do.
Deadly awesome.
Deadly boring.
I feel like I did give you a big warning. I'm like, some of the stuff that I'll have you do is not fun.
You told me, yes.
Like, probably multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. And you even asked me, like, are you sure? Like, you want to do the not fun stuff, right? And I'm like, yeah, I want to. If I have the opportunity to start creating full time, I can learn from everything I get my hands on. I was ready to fully dive into the opportunity, and I don't regret it. I say this all the time. I think the universe has a way of like forcing you onto your feet if you're not going to do it on your own. And I think that is what happened when I lost my job. Is like I had been thinking about and dreaming about and wanting to be creative full time. Complete fantasy conditions, I would be touring and doing just music content, which is just not. It's such a low percentage of being able to do that, and so didn't put all my eggs in that happening. But it was such a dream. But I was thinking about it all the time, and I think the universe was like, "Bet, here you go." I'm glad.
Oh,
I suppose. Ew, no more of that.
Yeah, nope. Keep going.
No more of that. Well, now we're here, 1413. That's how we started, really. Mm-hmm. It was all history from there. A few months in, now we're like, I think we should start talking into microphones, and we'll call it Between Takes.
You talked about universe thing, right? The universe came together, gave you a job.
Yeah, well, I don't, that's not what I said. No. I said the universe pushed me. Like,
right.
To...
In the same way,
dive in.
In the same way, I've been doing this for like 3 or 4 years by myself.
Right.
And I've reached the point to where I couldn't take on anything else, and I did need help.
Mm-hmm.
And
unfortunately for you, the universe sent you.
You
me.
say that, but I do think you do a good job. And despite how much we bicker, I don't mind working with you.
Ugh, it's disgusting.